Good morning. It's Tuesday, June the 3rd. Here's what we're working on this morning. Halton police are in Burlington. They're investigating after two people were reportedly found dead in a home.
Porter Airlines launches flights at the newly redesigned Hamilton International Airport.
And the Florida Panthers captain is surprised with 2 NHL awards. Thank you for joining us bright and early here on Morning Live. I'm Emily Taylor. I'll be here for the week. Annette Hom is out on vacation for the week. And Brian and Rick, did you guys have a chance to go outside yesterday? It was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh, my goodness.
Gorgeous. Brian, whatever you cooked up yesterday worked like a charm.
Finally, a nice day. Finally, we had a nice day. Yeah. And we're going to have another nice day, albeit it'll be a little bit warmer. You're going to start to notice a little bit more humidity. Yeah, like yesterday, we got to 23 degrees in the sunshine. Actually, the wind started out to be fairly strong, and then it died off. The afternoon was gorgeous. Today, we're looking at a temperature a little warmer. We should hit 28 degrees for the day today. So we are looking at a humidex value starting to build in as the day goes on. A bit more southerly flow. Actually, you're going to notice a bit of haze in the atmosphere as well. We've got some smoke invading the upper atmosphere from those western wildfires, so you'll notice some haze late this afternoon into the evening hours. But yeah, another bright sunny day. Tomorrow, sunny and even warmer. So yeah, it's finally going to feel like a pretty nice spring and early parts of summer. We're not quite there yet, but you figure June is a nice summer month. So we'll talk about that in detail. By the way, we are 10 degrees right now. Yesterday morning at this time, 3. So today, 10 degrees. So a much better start, and we have the sunshine already. Talk about it coming up. Quick look at traffic. Not much happening this morning. 403 and Waterdown Road looks fine, both directions. Light volume. MTO traffic cameras. Nikola Tesla Boulevard coming out of Stony Creek toward the Skyway away from us looks good. Top of the Skyway, nice and easy going. Same with Third Line. Not much happening right now. We will look at weather and traffic in detail in just a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks, Brian. Halton police are in Burlington this morning after two people were reportedly found dead inside a home. Simone Gavros joins us live from the scene with the details. Simone, what can you tell us so far?
Well, right now, Emily, details are very limited, but we know that police were outside of this house starting around 12:45 this morning. This is near Walker's Line and Dundas Street here in Burlington. Now, at this point, police have the house roped off with police tape, and the SIU is on scene. That means that they're going to be invoking their mandate, and that typically happens when there's some kind of police-involved injury in any kind of landscape right now. So we are still learning a lot of these details. A freelancer does say that there was one man who has serious stab wounds, fatal stab wounds. That's what we were hearing from a freelancer. We are waiting for that to be confirmed by police. The other person is believed to have had self-inflicted wounds to his throat. Now, their relationship to one another has not been confirmed, nor have their ages. All other details are likely being withheld since there was a reported police-involved injury, according to the freelancer. Officers secured the scene while they began their investigation, and they're still on scene into the morning. Now, I spoke to Halton police on the phone this morning, and they were only able to confirm the address that police were focusing on. And when we arrived on scene, we did see that that's the only address that is roped off with police tape. And again, the SIU would invoke their mandate when there's a serious injury or death involving a police officer and the public. And the SIU is still on scene currently this morning. Now, we did reach out to both Halton Police and SIU. Typically, Halton Police would then refer us to the SIU for this investigation. We are going to be talking to people this morning in the area and hopefully get more information about what exactly happened here in Burlington. For now, things back over to you, Rick.
Thanks, Simone. Human remains were found after a house fire in Halton County last month.
Firefighters were able to extinguish the blaze. However, I'm sad to say that human remains were located inside the home. The identity of the deceased remains under investigation. I want to note that the fire is not being treated as suspicious and no foul play is suspected.
The fire happened at around 3:30 a.m. on May 11th at a home on Kinross Street near Argyle Street South. Police tell us that it does not appear anyone else was in the home at the time. Anyone with information is asked to contact police.
One person has been taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries following a stabbing in Stony Creek last night. It happened around 6:30 p.m. on Federal Street near Highway 8 and Green Road. Hamilton police say the victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. However, police say they had no information or evidence to work with, and no witnesses were willing to cooperate. As a result, no charges have been laid.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has met with Canada's premiers in Saskatoon to bring new nation-building projects to the table. Carney is promising to table legislation that will speed up the approvals of critical infrastructure projects, while including meaningful consultation with Indigenous communities, though no projects were announced at yesterday's meeting. Premiers are praising Carney, with Premier Doug Ford even referring to him as Santa Claus. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she supported the talks, especially Carney's willingness to discuss pipelines and energy development.
The federal barriers to intervention movement of goods and people, and also to put in place an ability to advance projects of national interest.
We're going to band together. We've never been attacked by any leader in the world like we have by President Trump. And make no mistake about it, he is out to take every single job off every single Canadian. If he had a choice, he doesn't give two hoots about Canada. Well, he's going to have a rude awakening. We're going to fight like we've never fought before. We're going to protect the people.
Despite no final list, Carney says discussions with the premiers will continue over the summer as Ottawa refines what qualifies as being in the national interest.
An MPP was ejected from the Ontario legislature yesterday after claiming Doug Ford is lying to First Nations peoples.
The Premier is telling untruths to First Nations.
Please withdraw.
Our rights are not being respected.
Will you withdraw the comment?
I'm not withdrawing. Speak.
Sam Momakwa, you have been named.
NDP MPP Sol Mamakwa was removed after he refused several times to take back his comments accusing the Premier of lying when it comes to the controversial Bill 5. The Ford government says Bill 5 is meant to hasten economic development in the province and would give the government power to suspend provincial and municipal laws for projects deemed to have economic importance. Last week, the province said it would also make amendments to the law to include in special Indigenous economic zones at the request of First Nations for projects they want fast-tracked. But Mamakwa says First Nations people should have been consulted before the bill was introduced.
First Nations are not against development. We just need to be at the table and work together on come up with a plan on how we're going to come together and fight this terror war. And right now, they're not being respected. You cannot trample on the rights of First Nations that they have, their inherent rights, their treaty rights.
The opposition is calling for the Ford government to drop the bill entirely. Bill 5 is expected to pass into law this week as the Conservative government has limited debate on it. MPPs will break for a 3-month summer vacation starting at the end of this week. The first Porter airline flights will be taking off and landing at Hamilton International Airport today in a brand new updated passenger terminal. Travelers will be greeted by a new facade, upgraded layout, and a new carrier. Passengers will be arriving from Halifax this morning at 7:25 a.m., and the first flight will be leaving to Vancouver at 8:20 a.m. Porter now offers daily flights from Hamilton to Halifax and Vancouver. Flights to Calgary and Edmonton begin next week.
Sportsline, the men's and women's quarterfinal matchups are now set at the French Open.
There it is. Sixth time that Novak Djokovic moves into the quarterfinals here without dropping a set. Last time he did it was in 23 when he won his third title here.
Three-time champion Novak Djokovic earned his 100th career French Open victory after sweeping Cameron Norrie 6-2, 6-3, 6-2 yesterday. The 38-year-old Joker is 12 wins behind 14-time champ Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros. Top seeds Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka also advanced to the quarters. Some sad news to pass along this morning. The son of Winnipeg Blue Bombers legend Milt Stegall has died. Chase Stegall passed away yesterday morning at the age of 20. The cause of death has not been announced. Stegall played on the men's soccer team at DePaul University in Chicago. Forge FC assistant coach David Edgar and former U.S. and Toronto FC captain Michael Bradley have joined Canada as guest coaches during the current FIFA international window. The Canadian team is currently in Halifax preparing for the 4-team Canadian Shield tournament that opens Saturday in Toronto. Canada will take on Ukraine and New Zealand faces Ivory Coast. So the NHL awards season is underway, and the league is honoring its best players in a unique way. Florida Panthers captain Alexander Barkov was surprised by not one, but 2 awards by children from Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital.
Very surprised. I was not expecting it at all.
Weren't there other kids? The kids have another trophy for Sacha. Selke trophy.
When they brought another trophy, it was just pretty overwhelming for me. I'm really honored by that award. Thank you, my teammates. Love you guys.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Barkov was awarded the Selke Trophy as the league's best defensive forward, as well as the King Clancy Memorial Trophy for his leadership and contribution to the community. Marks the 2nd straight year and 3rd time in 5 seasons that Barkov won the Selke. Since 2019, Barkov has donated $420,000 to the Children's Hospital in Fort Lauderdale. Florida visits Edmonton tomorrow night in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Still with hockey, the Lightning have signed forward Yanni Gourde to a 6-year contract extension worth $2.3 million a season. The 33-year-old was acquired by the Bolts in a trade from Seattle. Gourde had 7 goals and 31 points in 57 games last season and added 1 assist in 5 playoff games. The next rivalry series between the Canadian and American women's hockey teams is taking shape. The U.S. will host the first 2 games of the series in Cleveland on November 6th and Buffalo on November 8th. Canada will host the final 2 games in December in advance of the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. And while the Oilers and Panthers get ready to compete for the Stanley Cup, a friendly competition among rescue dogs is back for year 2. All 32 NHL teams are represented in the Stanley Pup, where 4-legged friends will be available for adoption in their respective city. Some of the dogs competing this year include Morgan Ruffley for the Leafs, Nick Chizuki for the Habs, and Leon Outsidel for the Oilers. The 90-minute special premieres on June 6th on True TV and will also air on the NHL Network June 8th and across the league's digital platforms.
12 minutes after 6 o'clock, we've made it to a Tuesday morning here now. Before we get into weather and our traffic cameras, I want to talk about the problem that we have. It's ongoing in downtown Hamilton at the moment, and that's a closure of Bay Street. Bay Street closed again today and again tomorrow, and that's from York to King, and that's for crane work in the area. So you're going to have to find an alternate if you normally use Bay Street between York and King for not only today, but for tomorrow as well, as is ongoing construction work continues. So that's one thing this morning. Other things this morning as far as traffic cameras are concerned, well, there's not a lot going on actually, which is good news. We don't have a lot of volume. We have no problems on highways in the Hamilton area. QEW 7th and St. Catharines is very light. Same with Nikola Tesla Boulevard. Now, as you go over the Skyway, come down, this is north of 2, which is North Shore Boulevard, so that's pretty light. Same with Oakville at Royal Windsor and the QEW at Cooksville Creek. Now, there's a lot of construction through here. We haven't heard of any collisions, but we do have quite the slowdown here already at Cooksville Creek. So take care this morning. All right, let's get to our temperature this morning. And what a difference this morning than yesterday morning. Yesterday, we were almost shivering at 3 degrees. This morning, we're sitting at 10, so milder air has pushed in to southern Ontario. You'll notice it for the day. Winds are still fairly light from the south. Humidity's comfortable. We do have a partly cloudy sky to start, and the sun, of course, is up. Comes up at about 20 to 6 now. So today, for school, 25 degrees today, so warmer than yesterday. Factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like 28. Bit of a southwest wind will pick up as the day goes on. Now, this is interesting. There's a lot of haze in the atmosphere. You might have noticed it during the sunset late in the day yesterday. So the air quality risk has bumped up to the moderate category, and that's because of the wildfire smoke that is pushing into southern Ontario in the upper elevations. So you'll notice that for the day today. So what we have is a low pressure system trailing a cold front. That's not going to bother us today or really even tomorrow, but we are going to get into some showers and cooler temperatures by the time we get to Thursday once that frontal boundary goes through. So today, temperatures anywhere from, well, 22 and 23 for Niagara, otherwise 24, 25 degrees. to 27 for parts of Peel, Mississauga, Brampton, Milton. But yeah, we'll notice the haze coming in later on today. Tonight, temperatures fall back and stay mild, 18 to 19 degrees tonight. Skies will stay clear. And then tomorrow, temperatures a little bit warmer, 27, 28, not too bad for Niagara Falls at 25. But a humidex tomorrow will be 33. So you'll notice that heat. So out the door, 3rd of June, temperature right now sitting at 10. It is partly sunny. Long range coming up. Emily, Rick.
All right, working that magic with the sunshine and the temperatures. Thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, StatsCan is reporting that airport traffic is up, but traffic from Canada to the U.S. has dropped. Welcome back to Morning Live. Let's say good morning to our friend Emily Vukovic. What do we have going on today?
Hi, good morning, guys. A classic 80s song has hit 1 billion streams on Spotify.
Wow.
It's really exciting. Producer Tansy and I were really happy about it in the newsroom this morning.
Do a little dance in the newsroom?
Yeah, a little bit. And I'm so sad that you guys don't watch Downton Abbey. Like, Brian Wood, do you watch Downton Abby?
I have, yes.
You have?
Yes.
Yes.
I said Brian, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, I need to bring Brian over for Chit Chat because we're going to show you a teaser of the grand finale trailer. It is so emotional. Farewell to the estate.
Oh. I thought I wrote that story in 2019, the finale trailer for Downton Abbey.
I know, but they've come out with one more.
There's more, okay.
They always do. And later on this morning, Owen Wilson takes a swing at redemption in a new golf comedy. Wow. And I was just cracking up over it. So
Will you act it out when we're on the couch too?
100%.
Amazing. Thank you, Emily. We're all looking forward to it. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some business numbers now. The Canadian dollar is down 16 basis points, trading just under 73 cents U.S. Gold is $9.40 an ounce lower, and crude is up 37 cents to $62.89 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are down across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down in Tokyo, but up in Hong Kong and Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX gained over 200 points yesterday. The Dow gained 35, and the Nasdaq closed 128 points higher.
Despite a rise in overall airport traffic, fewer people flew from the U.S. to the U.S. from Canada in April. Transborder travel dropped nearly 6% compared to last year. That's the third straight monthly decline. Meanwhile, domestic and overseas travel was up 7.4% year over year. In total, 4.5 million passengers were screened at Canada's 8 largest airports, which is up from both 2024 and pre-pandemic levels. StatsCan didn't give a reason for the trends, but many Canadians have canceled trips to the U.S. in the wake of Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods and his desire for Canada to become the 51st state.
Meantime, counter tariffs against the U.S. led Ottawa to collect an extra $617 million in import duties in March. A federal government report shows revenue from customs import duties topped $1 billion in March, more than double the amount from March of last year. Retaliatory tariffs were slapped on billions of dollars worth of American goods in March. During the federal election campaign, the Liberals had said the counter tariffs would raise about $20 billion over 12 months.
Hudson's Bay is expected to return to court today to seek approval for its $30 million deal it signed with Canadian Tire. The deal would see Canadian Tire buy the rights to Hudson's Bay intellectual property, including its name, coat of arms, and the iconic stripes. The court will also hear a motion from RioCan Real Estate Investment Trust to let a third party liquidate its joint venture with the Bay, spanning 12 properties. A third motion aims to help the department store's workers recoup some of the money they lost under a federal wage protection program. All right, that was a quick look at business news. We're going to take a break, and Brian will be back with traffic, and that 7-day forecast looking pretty good in the short term.
Welcome to this third morning of June. Time is 6:24. We're looking at pretty good traffic condition this morning, so no problems as far as collisions are concerned. QEW east of Lake and St. Catharines is light. Top of the Skyway Bridge, Toronto bound towards us, is starting to get a little bit busier, but not too bad. No problems east of Bronte. We'll go to Sheraton, going through Mississauga, all doing fine. Dipping into the 403 west of Mississauga Road, so both directions here through Mississauga. Not a problem right now. So thankfully the temperature is milder weather here this morning. Temperature is 10 degrees for Hamilton. Better other areas, 11 for Toronto, 13 Grimsby, 15 already into Mississauga. So seasonals for an overnight low about 11 degrees, so 10's not bad. 22 for the daytime high. We beat that by a degree yesterday. Those are our sun times and records for today. And for school today, we should be 19 degrees by the first bell and 25 for after school. It'll feel a little warmer than that. Our humidity is going to start to go up a bit today, and it'll feel like 28 degrees with that 25-degree high in the sun. 18 tonight, so fairly mild. I'll almost call that warm. 28 tomorrow, humidex 33, and we'll hang on to the sunshine for one more day. Then by Thursday, temperatures drop with the cold front, and also dropping will be some precipitation. We'll get some showers, fairly gray. Chance of showers. It's only a chance of showers Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, some sun, 23, 22, and then sunshine for Sunday. Sunday looks nice, 25 degrees and some sun. That's your forecast. Emily, Rick.
Thanks so much, Brian. A Colorado zoo is about to get a whole lot smellier.
Uh-oh. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo has announced the birth of 14 skunks. Isabel gave birth to a litter of 7 kits on May 5th. Then a couple of weeks later, Padfoot gave birth to another litter of 7 kits. The zoo says the parents and little ones are all healthy. In fact, Isabel's babies have already started growing teeth and interacting with each other as well. Once they're mature, the zoo says they'll be sent out to new homes in accredited zoos. Meanwhile, the zoo will happen to be celebrating National Skunk Day on the weekend of June 14th and 15th. They're so cute.
They're so cute.
But then they get so smelly.
They do.
And then they're not so cute.
This is the issue, yes. I will bet you any money that Emily Vukovic is sitting out there in the newsroom going, oh, I want one.
Yes, totally.
Oh, I'm going to get a petting zoo with skunks.
And her voice is getting higher and squeakier as...
Yes. We'll show her the video after it.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, we have lots more news coming up. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break.
There's